Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Battle Network Operate Star Force. In the last part, our oven caught on fire and now we're inside of it. Megaman! Yeah, the oven program's here, but something's wrong. Be careful. If a virus comes out, I'll send chip data. Roger that. Welcome to our first dungeon. Help us, the oven has been taken over by viruses. Who are we? We're the oven control programs. No, we're not viruses, we think. The virus's boss is somewhere in the oven control area. He's creating the fire. If you delete him, it should stop the fire. The oven control area is somewhere deep inside. You can't see the viruses, they just suddenly attacked. Be careful, it's like it's an RPG with random encounters. With that said, despite it being a dungeon, look out for mystery data because these are all usually unique mystery data that are only going to show up the one time. They're essentially the treasure chests for the dungeons in the most literal sense in these areas. Because of the heat, the oven network is broken up. You can maybe put it out if you get the ice block from the thawing section of the network. Alright, and there's our main goal for now at least. Uh-oh, you were right, Lan, it's a virus. The data signature is World 3's for sure. And it's tough. It's just like Mail was saying. Let's go, Mega Man. Battle routine set. Execute. You know, for being supposedly a tough virus... Come on, guys. It's a single Metar. Oh no, I'm afraid it's a single hard hat. What am I gonna do? With that said, most of the enemies you're gonna find in here are just that. Metars, a couple of Canodum ones. It's pretty straightforward. This is the center of the oven network. We're being deleted. Doesn't look like you guys are. Just look like you're taking nice little naps. I think it's kind of adorable. We have almost no virus-busting features. We're hoping that you can delete the viruses. Beep. And he's dead. The fire is constantly going to be blocking your path throughout certain portions of the map, but it's a very simple area, honestly. Battle Network 1's dungeons, if I had to compare them to later games, are relatively straightforward. Battle Network 2 Beyond definitely started getting not only more puzzle heavy, but execution heavy. In this game, it's more so just light, like, alright, figure your way around sort of things. With maybe one puzzle element later on. There's no response. The program is no longer functioning. That is a corpse in a Mega Man game, then, technically. Wow, that's weird. You'd think this being very visually a fire area, though, we'd have a couple of fire viruses around, and there is one in the second computer, hence why it's Oven Computer 1 down there on the bottom screen. But I don't run into that even while I'm here, despite it being, I think it's supposed to be like close to a 20% encounter rate out of the random encounters you can find. I just ran into everything else more often. With that said, we want to come all the way over here. This is the thawing section. If you use this ice block, you can extinguish 7 fires. Please try to get into the oven control area. Then, please delete the virus's boss to fix the oven. Otherwise, we're all going to die. Examine a fire to use the ice block. If you use up the ice blocks, please come back for another. However, it will take time to recompile, so the fires that you extinguished will return. Good luck! So the puzzle here is relatively straightforward. You got 7 ice blocks that you can use to extinguish up to 7 fires. You can go back to refill them, but you will replenish the fire by doing that as well. With that said, especially thanks to the map present here in Operate Star Force, you don't have to worry about too more. Oh, it's a lot of fire. Mega Man, no! Ah! Mega Man, what's wrong? Mega Man? Ah, ha, 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 ha. Who's there? Ah, don't bother calling your Navi. He just went boom. You're the panel repairman. Ah, that was just a disguise. I work for World 3, silly kid. So all the other oven explosions. Ah, you're pretty smart. Me and my Navi do good work, eh? Sorry, but you're gonna join your Navi. You can't escape. Lan, where's Mega Man? You can't contact him? So pretty regularly throughout the game's main scenarios, there's going to be sections where you have to control Lan to find some solution to a minor puzzle, like figuring out how to get back into contact with Mega Man. So we have to put out those flames. What can we use? I know. Quick, the toolbox upstairs! Sometimes you can get hints, otherwise you just have to talk or investigate everything in a room to find what you're looking for. In this case, a water gun up here in Lan's room right next to a Mega Man Legends 2 poster. So now that we have that, we can go back to the oven and extinguish it pretty simply. Thank heavens, the fire's gotten a little better now. Megaman! Answer me! Megaman! Megaman! Answer me! Lan? You okay? Yeah, I'm alright. Thanks, Lan. I got a lot on my hands here. Hurry up, Megaman. Roger. I don't know why, I've always loved that just that tiny water gun puts out all that fire. Mind you, looking at it, there was a lot of water pressure there. But yeah, this is how the ice blocks work. Yeah, just put out a fire like that. Pretty straightforward, if you ask me. I'd say the only puzzle in this game, quote-unquote, that gets hard is maybe the one from the second plot scenario. Because there's a randomness element to that. I guess technically like the second to last major scenario, too. This teleport will take you further into the oven area. Be careful. Whenever you enter a new computer sub-area like this, while the mechanic itself doesn't change, the enemy layouts do. With that said, again, I'm only really showing off new encounters once we've seen what a general area has to offer. And we want to be very precise with where we use our ice blocks if we want to get every single mystery data. With that said, they give you more than enough. I believe you only need 6 of the 7 to access the boss fight here in optimal uses, maybe even 5. Ahead is the oven control area. The one behind all of it is there. It's someone's net-navi. It's far stronger than any virus. Be careful. Alright, we're coming up on the boss fight on the end of the oven network, so make sure that your folder's looking all good. This is what we're looking like right now based off what I've won from battles. And make sure you save, because, hey, game overs suck, because you get thrown right back to the title screen in this series if you die. Whenever you're ready, though, move on to the boss. And who are you? You're a World 3 net-navi, aren't you? Your mischief ends here. Haha, so you're the net-navi for this house. You think your kid operator can beat me, Mr. Match? Guess we'll just have to fight you and find out. Lan, get our chips ready. Okay. Haha. You made it this far, but now it's war. Like Fireman says, we're strong, kiddo. Fireman, let's burn. Whoa! Mega Man, these guys mean business. Give it your best. You too, Lan. No getting scared, okay? Who? Me? No way. Battle routine set. Execute. Time for our first actual boss fight against Fireman, who's not that much stronger than Gutsman, honestly. As for attacks, he has his firearm, which he'll throw an entire fire along the row that he's on. He has a flame tower, which summons a fire that travels forward, slowly moving up to track your general location. And I believe in this game he has an attack where he'll stun himself for a few seconds and throw bombs out that'll just leave lingering fire effects on whatever panels they land on. Not much HP, yeah, but he can do some damage if you're not being careful. With that said, he's also super easy to stun. Even a cannon and a shotgun will put him into a stun animation, so you can interrupt his attacks pretty easily. He also is very predictable because he'll always move 3 times, and on the 4th move is when he's going to do his attack. Fireman, well, he's like Fireman from Mega Man 1, only intensely easier. Because Fireman in Mega Man 1 was arguably one of the harder bosses due to the fire that lingered beneath you. But in here, not so much. I like the boss theme for this game, though. That's a good one. Whenever you beat a boss fight, though, you just get Zenny, though. You get battle chips from them other ways later on. How can a Kindness Pure Navi defeat Fireman? At least I finished my mission. What do you mean? Ha! This is just the first step in World 3's plan. What? Ha! That's right. I found the program we need for our plan. Inside the oven in your house. I probably shouldn't have told you that. But who cares? Soon war will start, and you'll all be dead. See ya! Wait! Program? What's he talking about? Ah, phooey. Well, I'm glad the house didn't catch fire. Thank you, Lan. Hey, Lan, great work back there. Yeah. You too, Mega Man. You're worried, aren't you? About World 3? Yeah, there's just so much I don't understand here. Well, it was only the first time we fought them. But they'll never control the net. Not if I can help it. But Mega Man, what can we do? We don't even know where they will strike next. We'll wait and get them when they come. Come on, Lan. Okay, but first... Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? You're hungry at a time like this? Ah, come on. Just a little bite. That pun only works visually, game. Your snack? It's there in the oven. It was turning out so well, and now it's all burnt! I've gotten tired from all this excitement. Why don't you go out and play? Come back and rest later on. The apple pie! No! With that said, now that Fireman's defeated, we now have proper access to just about everything in ACDC Town. Lan, what's up? Don't go peeking in my room now. But more importantly, this is Mail's piano. It looks like you can jack in here. This is her homepage. With that said, you're going to want to go into her room because damn near every single real-world location in the game that has a jack-in point has a second one hidden somewhere nearby, and your friends' houses are no exception to that. With that said, Mail's homepage does have some new viruses, including one coming up right here. This is the Spooky virus. 50 HP, does 15 damage per attack, though its attacks are a little bit hard to come by at first, because the way these things move around is that they try to stay on whatever row you're not on. Area grab can help you with that, though. And every now and then they'll vanish and pop back in a second or two later right on the panel in front of you to just do a little stab attack with their tongue. They're notably in charge of two battle chips, the Invis-line and the Recover line. More on that in a few minutes because we're already coming up on our next virus. With that said, this is also where you have to go in order to get Mail's @ sign in order to get into her homepage from the internet. The other virus type you can run into in her homepage is the Powie line, also known as the Flappy line, coming up right here. 60 HP, 20 damage per attack, in charge of the Quake line of chips. These things will bounce around randomly on the enemy's side of the field. Every third or fourth bounce, though, they'll appear right above you and try to slam down to do damage on you. Now, an easy strategy with that, though, just move his panel behind and use a sword. Later variants of them can crack the panel that they slam down on, if not every single one, period. But otherwise, they're relatively straightforward. As for what you need to potentially get those chips, from the Spookies, you're probably going to want a rank 4 or 5 to get the Recover chip. And the Invis, you're going to want at least a 5 or above. But that said, the Invisible line, not too useful, just turns you invisible for a while, and technically invincible at that as well. But you're going to be wasting time that you could just be using, doing damage in my eyes in this game. Later ones, not so much, but Battle Network 1, Invisible Line's not too useful. Same with Recovery chips. The way Recovery chips work in this game is that the screen dims and your HP is restored. Although that was Battle Network 1, I forget if that works the same way in Operate Shooting Star, because I don't find much of a use for them. Because Battle Network 1 is a little bit different from the later games, in that your HP recovers between battle. If you look on the top left, there's no HP bar there. Battle Network 2 onwards, your HP is consistent between battles. So say if you start at 100, take 15 damage in a battle, when you leave the battle, you're still missing that 15 HP. At that point, recovery chips became useful, but they also started introducing items to recover your HP outside of battle for that very reason. Because of that, a very good priority early on is to just remove things like the recovery chips and the escape chips from your inventory in this game, because there's just better things to use. With that said, some of these chips do have alternate purposes in things known as program advances, which we'll go over eventually. But in this game, they're also not worth doing, same with the original Battle Network 1, because it's not kept track of. I love Dex's house, by the way. You want access to my links? No way, dude. Lan, do you want a net battle Dex? Sure. Wait until I upgrade Guts, man. Okay? You can't get his link to his homepage for the internet until a certain amount of time passes from the first scenario. I think it has to be relatively early into the next one, as you need to fight the second version of Gutsman, technically. But that said, we can jack into his GameCube. That's nice. By and large, a lot of these areas do have unique viruses to them. Sometimes it's easier to find certain variants in certain places, like you're probably going to have an easier time running into Flappies here than you are in Mail's homepage. You can find a lot of the information on exactly which of these sub-areas can have what enemies by going on to the Rockman.Exe zone itself. I believe they have a pretty good track record of keeping track of what enemies are in what areas. Because the Battle Network fan base, we're not the largest Mega Man fan base, but we're pretty dedicated. Just look at the fact that that fans have fan translated this, the 4.5 real-time operation, patched in stuff back to Battle Network 6, all that sort of stuff. With that said, here on Dex's homepage, we can run into our next new enemy. This is a Metar 2. They work the same as Metar 1s, but they have more HP at 60 instead of 40. They do more damage at 40 instead of 10. And their attacks are faster. With that said, it also goes into their battle chips. They'll drop the Sonic Wave instead of the Shock Wave battle chips, which do more damage and are faster, and they're generally better. Outside of a potential loss of a good synergizing chip code with whatever you're building, generally speaking, it's a good idea to upgrade your battle chips to the next version when you get them. Here, though, we got our next new virus. This is a B-Tank. These things patrol their column, eventually stopping to fire what's known as a little bomb at you from memory, which does 15 damage. Got 80 HP, so they're a little bit healthy for this point in the game, but nothing too bad. With that said, whenever one of them attacks, you want to move horizontally across the screen and not vertically, because the little bomb blows up an entire column. Which makes eventually grabbing it as a battle chip, which I believe you need at least a busting rank 5 or above, pretty good, and they can drop a B code at that. And B code's arguably the best code in this game just because of how many chips synergize well with that. So if you can grab that, I'd get it if you can. Speaking of which, the Metar 2s. We got Sonic Wave, of course. They dropped that in 3 codes from, I believe, rank 5 or above. But they can also drop the Metguard Gs that the Metar 1s can drop, but they can only drop the G code, whereas the Metar 1s can also drop the A code. And later on, there's going to be a side quest to get a lot of those, so they're potentially better for grinding that out. You came to ask me about PETs? Okay, then I'll tell you about myself then. I'm still only 8 years old. I skipped a grade. My family has some money, and I know all about PETs. But I'm not really good at gym class. Yeah, neither was I back in elementary school. Or middle school. Or high school. Or school. With that said, we've already been to Yai's homepage, so we don't need to jack into her picture frame next to her bed, but we do want to jack into her telephone here because this is the sub-network for her house. By and large, I do appreciate that despite being relatively linear RPGs, the Battle Network games manage to still have some amount of exploration, not only due to how the networks themselves are usually laid out, but by looking for these hidden networks. And sometimes they get real peculiar about where they hide these things, like in corners where there's nothing to see visually. Later on in the series, I'm thinking about Network 3, and I think 5 did that in at least one case as well. They get tricksy later on. In fact, I'd argue later on, these games can be pretty hard to do a lot of things in towards their end game and post games. With that said, at this point, there's a place we need to go for story progression, but I'm ignoring that until next part, because I want to head onto the internet and take care of some very minor things, namely some minor shopping at the net merchant here in Internet 1, and linking up everyone's home pages to the internet using the ats that we got in their respective home pages. Actually, I'm only just now realizing, I think I misspoke earlier. I think I may have said that the link Dex had that we can only get by battling him later on. Was his homepage at? No, that is his slash. The items that essentially allow us to access Internet 2 and even some other internet areas later on. They're essentially area keys. That said, I want to buy an HP memory or 2, as well as 1 power-up. The battle chips here aren't too useful. Cannon C has a distinctive use, but it's not too good here in Battle Network 1 by my metric, honestly. And to use a power-up, you just go onto the menu, select a stats, and raise it up a level. By putting a point into charge, I can now charge my Mega Buster in battle up to a green and then a purple level. The green level multiplies your Buster's base damage by 8, so it'll do 8 damage at this point in the game with having 1 in my power stat, and 16 at the second purple charge level. Because of that, you can end up doing a lot of damage very quickly with the Charge Buster later on. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 3, story progress. I guess we're going to mess around and see where we can go. See you guys then.